Hello boys and girls, this is Mr. Kizik, and in this video here we're just going to look over the review sheet here to prepare for your graded assignment next class. So remember, all these problems here are basically what would be on there. Could there be some more difficult problems? Yes. Could there be some easier problems? Yes. But it's just the basic types of problems that you will see here. So make sure you do still look over the material, and remember, you get to use your notes. Alright, so for number one here, you're going to have a problem on there where you're going to have to solve for x. So you're going to give them a problem like this, like a polygon. So remember, what I do here is, well, what kind of angle am I given here? I'm given an interior angle, so I have to find the sum of the interior angles. So remember, the formula is, let's do it in red. Sum equals the number of sides minus 2 times 180. Well, how many sides does this figure have? This has 5. So 5 minus 2 times 180, this gives me 540. So what we would do, then we would add up all the interior angles and set it equal to 540. Now remember, what does this, what do the little tick marks mean? The little tick marks mean that all the angles are the same. So 7x plus 31 occurs 5 times. So I added up 5 times, or easier yet, multiply it by 5, and set it equal to 540. Now I could distribute here 35x plus 155 equals 540. I subtract 155 from both sides, and I get 385, and then divide by 35, and I get x is equal to 11. And it turns out that's all the problem wants, so we're good. Number 2. Well, if I look at number 2 here, these are all exterior angles. So what I would have to do is I would have to add them together and set it equal to what? That's correct. I would have to set it equal to 360, because no matter how many sides a figure has, exterior angles always have to 360 degrees. So I would have, I'm going to cheat a little bit here, but 5x plus 12 plus 9x plus 1 plus 10x minus 37, and set it equal to 360. Well, I'm going to combine like terms here. When I combine the x's, I get 24x. And then I combine the non-x's, I get 12 plus 1 minus 37. Should be minus 24 equals 360. Add 24 to both sides, I get 384. And then I divide each side by 24, and I get x equals 16. And again, that's all this figure wants, so I'm done. With number 3, you're going to get, a couple problems on there. It says, what's the sum of the interior, if the sum of the interior angles is 4,860 degrees, how many sides does it have? Well, remember from problem 1, this is the sum formula. So to figure out how many sides, well, if they give me the sum of the interior angles, that's my S. So 4,860 equals n minus 2 times 180. And then I divide each side by 180, and divide each side by 180, and I would get, just get my calculator died here. It would get me 27 equals n minus 2. So then, what does the number of sides equal? 29. Then number 4 here might be, it's not the most difficult one, but it says this one's a measure of an exterior angle of a regular polygon is 24. How many sides does this figure have? Now remember, there was a formula that said the number of sides is equal to 360 divided by the exterior angle. So all I'd have to do is take 360 and divide it by 24, which gives me this is 15 sides, not degrees. Okay. So you're going to have a few problems like that to deal with on your grade assignment. The next one here, the next problem that you'll have is, well, you're going to be given a parallelogram, and you're going to be given sides and angles. Let's start with the sides first, because that's pretty easy here. It says EB is 16, ED is 25, BF is 11, EC is 34. Okay. So what does that mean BC has to be? That has to be 25 because opposite sides are congruent. BD is 22 because remember, diagonals bisect each other. So if BF is 11, FD must be 11. 11 plus 11 is 22. FC is 17 because, again, diagonals bisect each other. So what's half of 34? 17. And then CD is 16 because that's the opposite sides. So that takes care of the sides here. And from class, it seemed like that was pretty simple. Now let's look at the angles. So I'll actually put those in green that given to us. BED, so this whole angle right here, this whole corner, is 55 degrees. CDB, which is this part right here, 67 degrees. And BCE, 24 degrees. And then I want you to find the missing information. So, when I look at this here, the first one's EDC. If I trace this out, EDC is this whole entire corner right here. Remember the properties of parallelograms. Properties of parallelograms say that if I have opposite angles, they are congruent, and if I have consecutive angles, they are supplementary. I don't have this entire corner right here. Because if I did, then I'd say opposite angles are congruent and be done. But I do have a consecutive angle. This BED that they gave us was 55. Remember, it says consecutive angles are supplementary, so I do 180 minus 55. And that would give me 125. So this right here is 125 degrees. Now I'm going to write that down there because it might help me in the future. Next one, angle EBD. Angle EBD is going to be this angle right here. Well, let's look at what we have here. We know this angle here is 125. We don't have the other angle, because if I had the other angle, then, I could just subtract it from 125. However, the 67 that's on the bottom right here, that is alternate interior to right here. That's why this is 67 degrees. All right, let's look at the next one, angle BEC. Angle BEC, if I trace that out, would be right here. All right, B to E to C. Well, if I look at this here, BEC, if I had an alternate interior, which I don't, that 24 actually goes right here. But what do I have? I have the whole angle, and I have a part. Two parts make a whole. So if I know the whole thing, and I know part of it, how do I find the other part? I just do 55 minus 24. So 55 minus 24, which is going to give me 31 degrees. So that means this angle here is 31. And last but not least, angle DBC, which is this angle right here. Well, same concept as what we did with the previous problem. This whole angle is 125. I know part of it. So 125 minus 67, which would give me what? I want to say 58. Brain is not working here. So 125 minus 67, yeah, 58. So this is going to be 58 degrees. So that is definitely going to be a problem on your graded assignment. Make sure you do take a look at it. And remember, if you got questions or concerns, please feel free to message me. Moving right along here, though, you're going to have a problem on your grade assignment, one or two problems where, using the properties of parallelograms, you got to solve for something, but then find an angle measure or side, whatever. So here, you're given these two expressions here, K and M. Well, what do we know about these two angles right here? We know they're congruent because they are opposite angles, and the property tells me so. So I'm going to have, 8x plus 17 equals 12x minus 39. I'm going to solve for x, move things around. So 4x, 17 at 39 there, and I'm going to get 56. Okay? And I divide by 4. 56 divided by 4 is going to give me 14. But what's the problem asking me? The problem's asking me to find the measure of angle n. I can't just plug it into anything and get my answer. I do have to, however, plug it into one of the other ones. So let's say I plug it into angle k. So angle k is going to be 8 times 14 plus 17. So, 8 times 14 plus 17 is going to give me 129. Well, what's the relationship between n and k? They're consecutive angles, so I subtract it from 180, and I'm going to get 51 degrees as my final answer. All right, last but not least here, you're going to have a couple problems on your grade assignment where you're going to have to determine if something's a parallelogram or not. Now remember, on this grade assignment, it might tell you a specific method to use. You will need to know how to do all methods. I'm just going to show you one of them here. So remember the three methods. Well, first of all, let's draw our figure so we know what our figure looks like. W, X, Y, Z. All right. So here, remember, you can either use the distance formula, the slope formula, or the distance and slope formula. Let me use the slope formula because that seems to be the easiest. So I would probably pick, I don't know, like Wx and Zy first. So if I find the slope of Wx, that would be 10 minus 8 over 6 minus 0, 2 over 6, which is 1/3. Now let me find the slope of Zy. That would be negative 3 plus 1 over negative 7 plus 1. Negative 3 plus 1 is negative 2. Negative 7 plus 1 is negative 6. And that does give me 1/3. So remember, because it did work here, I do have to try the next pair of opposite sides. So I try WZ. That would give me negative 3 minus 8 over negative 7 minus 0. So this would give me negative 11 over negative 7, which is 11 over 7. And then we try to find the slope of xy. So find the slope of xy, and that would be, negative 1 minus 10 over negative 1 minus 6, negative 11 over negative 7, which again is 11 over 7. So yes, we had same slopes here. This is a parallelogram. But remember, make sure you do look at how you use the distance method too, and the slope and distance method. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is basically what could be on your graded assignment here. Again, there'll be some more difficult problems. These are basically all generalized here. So if you do have any questions or concerns, please feel free to message me. This is Mr. Kiesick, sign off.